software called Outlook as well. Outlook is actually the software that you put on your computer. We are not doing that for this rollout. We're only using the web version. So it's just like going to Gmail, Yahoo Mail, Comcast, or Verizon. You just go to the internet and you get to your email. There's nothing to install. There's nothing to update. So Outlook is just what people call the thing that you put on your computer. We're not doing that. So is that good for everyone? Although, Sean, you might want it. We are giving it to, sorry, we're giving it to administrators. So if somebody's here all day tomorrow, they can install it for you. Yeah, because there are some things that...
Don't hate the game, not the player, guys.
Well, I only say that because typically someone else manage your calendar, and to do that, you would need to have that client where we can set that up. That's the only thing he gets, I assure you.
Wink, wink.
All right, so like I said, nothing to install, nothing to update. Any computer with an internet connection, you can get to your email. So you're going to use the same username and password that you use to get onto your computer. So it's nothing, not a new username and password that you'll have to remember. You'll still need to get into CLC with your CLC username and password. So this will be your computer username and password. When you're prompted to change, you know how sometimes it says your network password's about to expire, do you want to change it now? As soon as you change it, it will automatically change it for email too. You don't have to do it again. It's all synced together. So our goal is to get you down to 1. So we're not eliminating any yet, but we're not adding any either. So we're trying to get everything synced. Okay, so much better connection to mobile devices, very easy. It is an Outlook product, so you can put it on your smartphone. iPad is very, very easy, and it's much more reliable. This is a very busy slide, so I do want to talk to it or explain it to you. You still need to go to first class, and you will need to go to Exchange. You need to check both regularly. Exchange will have all new emails that come to you. Any new email that got sent to you as of 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon will go directly to Exchange. It will not be in first class. First class will have all of your old stuff, and Exchange will have all of your old stuff, but anything new will go directly to Exchange only. All your mail will be there, your calendar migrated, your contacts. If you had any personal contacts, they migrated as well. So the only reason you would need to go to first class is if you're responsible for monitoring any other conferences. Your school's conference will be in Exchange because everybody migrated, and I guess you have a choice. Keep using the CLC conference for the school until the end of the year, and then switch to Exchange later, or start using the one in Exchange. So I don't know if you want to make a decision for this, have a discussion about that and decide what you guys want to do. Yeah, Jenny should have gone over. She went over the options for you. So whatever you guys want to do is fine with you, or fine with us. So, but if you have to monitor any other conferences, you have to go to first class to see them. Because we still have like 20 schools that have not migrated yet. So if we moved all those conferences now, they wouldn't be able to see them. And they would have no idea what's going on. That wouldn't be very nice to do to them. So once the last school migrates, which I believe is June 11th, then we'll be able to move the conferences. And I'm not sure what that schedule is yet, but we'll make sure you know. Any questions? All right, so if you need to email a conference in CLC, go to CLC, create a message, put the conference name in, and send it. If they respond to you directly, the message will go to Exchange. If they respond to the conference, it'll be in CLC in the conference. So Marketplace, you have to see in CLC. You have to go.
So you still have access in your CLC email account to send out messages?
Yes. And you can email personal messages too there to individuals, but then it's filed in CLC, not in Exchange. So if I go to CLC and I email you, it's going to be in CLC. You'll get it in Exchange, but my sent message is in CLC. And then when you reply to me, it's coming to Exchange because you're replying to me, the person. All new emails go to Exchange. Now, if you want to email someone you don't know, are they in Exchange, are they in CLC, you start your message in Exchange, you put them in the 2 and off it goes. You don't need to worry about where they are. It'll go to the right place. It will find them. They have it mapped some magical way. I don't understand. Does that make sense for everyone? All right, very good. So, our plan is to migrate all schools and all departments by the end of this school year. All your email contacts and calendar items came to Exchange. 2 things did not map 100% between the 2 systems. Number 1, mail lists. So in your contacts in CLC, you know how you had individual personal contacts and you could have lists of people, 3rd grade team, 4th grade team, team leaders. and then you would just email the group and it would go to everybody individually. Those did not migrate. So you'll need to create your mail groups or those mail lists. I love coming to the elementary school. You're thinking they're not so cute. It's the end of the year. I forgot that to myself. So you'll need to recreate your groups or your mail lists in Exchange. It's very easy. You know, if they're small, you just have a couple names. If you had a big mail list of like 60 people, I can show you how to convert it from CLC to Exchange. It takes like 30 seconds. It's really, really easy. And like I said, somebody will be here all day tomorrow to help you with those individual, any questions you have, any assistance you need, to help you with that. Calendar events are static. That's the second thing that didn't migrate 100%. So if I had a recurring event on my calendar every Friday morning at 10 a.m., and it's on my calendar in CLC, you go to Exchange every Friday morning at 10 a.m., there it is. However, they're no longer linked together. They're individual items. So if that 10 a.m. meeting is now at 9:30, you have to change the first one to 9:30, the second one to 9:30, the third one to 9:30, etc. So if you have something that's for the next 10 years, you might want to, well, you'd have to delete them individually, and then you could recreate the recurring event. Any questions about that? Do any of you use your personal calendar in CLC? Yeah, I do too. So just think of that. I mean, I have payday every other week, payday on Friday. That's not going to change, and they're no longer linked, so that's fine. I can just leave it. But if it's something that's going to change, then you'll need to adjust them individually. And like I said, conferences will migrate later. First class is not going away immediately. All the schools' web pages are through first class. So we have to have a plan to migrate them to some other tool before we take away first class. So I would expect first class to be here at least through the calendar year, through December, probably January timeframe at a minimum. So I have no idea what the plan is to get rid of first class, but it will go away. Any questions? All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to be at the login screen. A lot of people got to see, it's step number 2. You typed it and you can bookmark it. Oh, you want to type step number 2 on your handout? Do you have the handouts? Okay. Thank you, Carol. It's HCPSS // Don't forget that S. And you can't Google it because it is protected. All right, so before we log in, a couple things I want to talk about. Public versus private. Is it a public computer or a private computer that you're on? If you're on the Howard County network, you feel pretty comfortable that you're on a private computer. You're protected, we have security, you're behind the firewall, it's fine. If you're at home, you can be on a private computer. I would only use public computer if I was sitting at the Howard County Public Library and I'm using one of their computers, because then temp files don't get downloaded and it's extra secure, there's a shorter timeout. So you can do private. Next checkbox down below, use the light version. Do not select the light version. Make sure your neighbor did not select the light version. So everybody look at your neighbor, make sure nobody did. So think of light as less. Light in calories, light in fat means less, right? So light in an application means less functionality. It's going to have fewer buttons and gadgets and things that you can do on the screen. It's good for people who are sight impaired and they want less so that they can navigate more easily. If you're on a mobile device, by default, you will be in the light version. So as you're using it, you might think, oh, I really like the light version. You can use it later, but for the training, I'd really rather you not so that you can see everything that I see. All right, last thing I'm going to do before I log in, bottom right-hand corner. And if you've already logged in, you can just look up here. Additional support. I'm going to click on that link, and there are 3 places you can go. Getting ready, which I hope you did, because that's too late. The schedule, you can see when your friends are, because you are today. And resources. If I click on that resources tab in the top right corner, this is everything you wanted to know about how to use Exchange. There are little videos on what to do, all of our quick reference cards, etc. But it's the bottom of the page that I want to show you. On the left-hand side, there's the mobile device setup instructions. Just click on that PDF, step by step, everything you need. And all of your different settings will be there. So if it's going to ask for domain, the domain name is right there. If you're asking for the server, there's your server name, etc. How many of you had a big contact list that you don't want to recreate by hand? Anybody? Okay, you did. All right, so here are the instructions. Here's the for the contact list conversion tool, and here are the instructions. It's basically you're going to copy and paste from CLC, dump it in the tool, hit convert, and copy and paste into Exchange.
I went through it with my husband, who's already been trained, so
Oh,
I
so
know
you're-
a little bit about it.
So she's an expert. All right, very good. So I just wanted to point out those two items. I'm going to scroll back to the top, and there's a sign in, and I'm going to just click that little sign in button, or you can hit the back button twice. Either way is fine. When you're in Exchange, though, avoid using the back button. Anytime you're in an application online, you shouldn't use the back button. Just like in Aspen, or if you're shopping, you don't hit that back button. Anyway, go ahead and private computer. Again, this is the page you would want to bookmark. You know, so then log in.
This is your computer login.
Your computer login, not your CLC. Sorry. Oh, that's fine.
But I'm not bad. The texting here, we usually, on the day that we have to roll over our password to get into the computer, we change our CLC password that same day to the same
Oh, that helps you. Yeah.
account.
Let's remember. All right, the first time you log in, it's going to ask you for your language and your time zone. It defaults to English. It defaults to East Coast, so you can just click OK. If you pick another language, you're on your own. Can I help you? Good luck. I can kind of guess what we're looking at. All right, very good. So, when you logged into CL, is everybody at their inbox? You see something like what I see. We're all almost there. I'm just going to check one last. All right. Tape, right?
No.
When you logged into CLC, you're used to going to your desktop, and you would say, I want to go to my mail, I want to go to my calendar, I want to go to my conferences, etc., right? There is no desktop in Exchange. By default, you are in your mail. Do you note down here in the left-hand corner how mail has a gray bar across it? Up above, inbox has a bar across it. You are in your inbox. Here are all of the messages that you have received. That is your inbox. We're used to little icons to denote the different... We're used to... I want to make sure they weren't having an Exchange problem. We're used to different icons to denote the different statuses of messages. A red flag indicated something you haven't read yet. All unread messages will be in bold. So if the lettering is in bold, you haven't read it yet. So you can see that. Also, if you were working on a message, you would... if you were working on a message, it would have a little white flag. It would have a little white flag next to it, indicating that you haven't sent it yet, right? An unsent message. Now, all unsent messages are filed in your drafts item folder. So everything that's coming to you that you receive is now in your inbox. Anything you're working on is in your drafts. As soon as you send a message now from this point forward, every message you send will be filed in your sent items folder. So everything's kind of organized for you. And if you've deleted it, it goes to your deleted items. So inbox, messages you receive. Drafts, messages you're working on that have not been sent yet. Sent items, messages you send out. And deleted items, messages you don't want anymore, that you don't need anymore. Now, a couple of notes about these. Drafts. It's good to have a drafts folder now because, you know, read it, reread it, think about it, debate it. There is no unsend anymore. So if you send a message, it's out there. There is no bringing it back. So if you're angry, 24 hours, deep breaths. No, but I always forget to include someone. I always forget to attach something. I always have a typo. So now I save it, I reread it, go do something, read it one more time if it's going to a lot of people, and then I send it. And as soon as I send it, it goes to my sent items. Oh, something just popped in my mind, read receipt, or read history. Not yet. What we're going to do is when we have all the end users in Exchange, when everyone has migrated, not all the schools have migrated, when everyone has migrated, you'll be able to click on any message. I guess like it's a control click on yours. It won't work today, so don't try. Control click, it'll say open delivery report. So you'll get a little pop-up message, and that's just like history. But we have to wait until June 11th, and then we'll be able to enable that, because not everybody's in Exchange yet, and it gets a little goofy. All right, so How many of you had folders in CLC for your inbox? Okay, so they should have come over. To the left of inbox, do you have a little gray arrow? If there's a little gray arrow, click on that. It's like clicking the plus sign that you had in CLC. Whoops, I went too far. Zoom in. See, I have that little gray arrow. I can click on that, and I see all of my CLC folders. So if you didn't have CLC folders, you won't have that little arrow. So, sigh of relief for those of you who did. It's nice. All right, good.
Where's the little arrow?
There's a little arrow. Did you have CLC folders? Yeah, perfect.
Oh, good.
And if your folders had folders, then there'll be, more arrows. It's just like clicking the plus sign in CLC. All right, you can collapse that. You can hit the little black arrow that appears to collapse it. All right, so also as we're looking at this, as I click on a message, you're going to get a preview of it over here on the right-hand side. And I got a lot of messages going on, or a lot of people in this message. Do you see how some people have green, and some have yellow, and some have blank boxes next to their name? Green means they're logged into Exchange right now. Yellow means they're logged in, but they haven't been doing anything. They're inactive. And then the clear ones, or the blank ones, mean they're not in Exchange. They're not logged in. So if I were to click on Jill's name, you might just want to watch. I don't know if you have the same thing there. If I click on her name, or the box, I'm sorry, I have to click on the box. I can chat with her. I see her phone number. I can send her an email. It's really nice. So if you instant messaged in CLC, this is how you chat with someone. And then it'll send her a little message. So don't start chatting with each other. All right. Now, with this reading pane, some people are not comfortable just having the reading pane appear automatically, because someone might come up to you and say, hey, did you get that email from me? Oh, let me log in. By default, you're in your mail, you're in your inbox, you're on that first message, and there it is. And you have no idea what that first message might be. So if it's a confidential email from a parent, you might not want the person standing beside you to be able to see that message. Not that they're malicious. It's, we're curious people. We're like, okay, where's my message? Oh, what's that? It's just something you might not want to have display automatically. You can turn this off folder by folder, and you might want to turn it off for the inbox. So at the top in these menus, do you see the view menu? Click that, and you'll see you have 3 reading pane options: to the right, bottom, or off. So you can turn that off, and then you no longer have that preview just for this folder. So you can have it on in other folders, but off for here, because this is by default and you can't control it, what they're going to see. So any questions about that? Another default setting that, that comes in Exchange is similar to what we call email thread in CLC. You know how if you send an email to someone, a bunch of people, and someone will reply, and a week later someone would reply, and it kept them all together in a nice little group. It was called an email thread, and the top one would be the most recent. And if someone replied to that message, it would move that message group to the top, to the most recent. That's similar to...
Dr. Stevens?
Yes?
Sorry to interrupt. Would you pick the phone up, please?
So that is similar to what we call conversation in Exchange.
Yes.
So if I zoom in, and you know how we would expand the inbox by clicking that gray arrow? Any message group that has, or any message that has that gray arrow next to it, that's a conversation. There's more than one item in here. And do you see how my subject line is bold? That means there's an unread message in this conversation. So I have to expand the conversation to see all the individual messages in it. And if there was more than one unread message, I would have parentheses and tell me. So if I had missed the whole conversation and there were 10 unread messages, there'd be a parentheses 10 right here beside it. So I've been kind of keeping up with it because it was an important one, this one too, this morning. So I can see there was an original message from Marcy sent yesterday. I had a response, which I deleted, and that's why it says deleted items. It has a line through it. Lee responded this morning. Jody responded. So now Jody's message is here, and that's the one I haven't read yet. So, because it's the one that's in bold. So now to read a message, since I don't have that preview anymore on the right-hand side, I can just double-click the message, and it opens in a separate window, and then there's her message. I have the option to reply all, which will go to everyone, or forward it to someone else. So any questions about that? And if I decide, okay, she says, let me look at it, I don't need this message, I can click this delete button and delete it. And it will be in the deleted items folder.
If
Fine.
above the time that it was sent, you have a red exclamation point, is that an error or is that the new urgent?
That's the new urgent. Let me see. Yep, that's a new urgent. So I think I have a couple of urgent ones this morning too. Let me see. I did. Maybe I deleted them all because I was scared. I didn't want to see them.
Okay, so new urgent won't say urgent, it'll just have an exclamation.
It'll just have an exclamation point. And I think it does put urgent in the subject. Did it have urgent in the subject line? No, so it's just a red exclamation point. Alright, so do you like this conversation or not? So let me undelete this. If there is a message that you deleted, like, user IDs, I can just click and drag that to my deleted items folder. That's how you delete an item. You just click and drag it, or you can click once on the message and then click this delete option in the menus across the top, and it deletes it. So I can then, I deleted the wrong thing. I really need that email about user IDs. I can click and drag it back to my inbox. That's how you would undelete something.
And how long is that there for?
Well, right now, I have stuff in there from April because we're still in the migration, but they said once we start the cycle of deleting, it's 3 to 5 days.
Okay.
So you might not want to delete it unless you really want to delete it. Now, that being said, what if you have a lot of, you're worried about running out of space. So do you see above inbox where it has your name? Do you see your name here on the left-hand side? Just move your mouse over it. Don't click on your name on the left-hand side. Just rest your mouse on top of your name. It will tell you how much space you're using out of your allotted amount. Bless you. So if you're getting close, you might want to delete a few things. And if I go to my deleted items folder, I don't think I need any of that. I can click empty, and it'll say, are you sure you want to empty out your deleted items folder? And then it frees up a lot of space. Bless you. And yes. And I've got nothing left. And now there is no undo. I cannot bring them back. So when it empties, it's gone. Which is good. I should keep that clean anyway.
I'm sorry, how do you change the entire folder?
If you're in your deleted items folder, click empty across the top. You'll have an empty menu option. All right. So, this conversation, if you don't like that, because see, here's another conversation. Staff for Academic Intervention Summer School. There's a conversation going on there because I have a little triangle. I'd have to click on that to see it. So, is that okay with you? Or do you like seeing every item as its own list record? If you rather separate that out, you can go back to that view menu where we turn reading pane on or off. And do you see how use conversations has a checkbox next to it, or check mark? If you click use conversations again, it turns that check mark off, and it turns off conversations. So now, every item is its own individual record, and you'll know which one's not in red because it'll be in bold. Any questions? Pretty easy? All right, great, yes.
For deleting different emails, say, you check your email after the weekend and you have several emails that you want to delete at once. Is there a way to highlight several things?
Yes, what you can do you see how, what I'm clicking on to read a message is just over here on the right-hand side. You just click anywhere in this line and it selects that message. Or I could click the icon and see how it selects the check mark, and that'll do it.
Okay.
Or I can hold down the control and click to either one.
Okay.
Good question. All right, now, what I want to do now is I want to create our email signature, and this is why you have to be in Firefox. So if you love Chrome or Safari or something else later, you can continue to use that, definitely. But for right now, that's why we're in Firefox. What I want you to do to create your email signature is come up to the top right-hand corner and click Options. Options. Now in this drop-down menu, we all get distracted by the cute little themes we can pick. You have Kit Kats and robots and cupcakes. But just above
If
select
one
a
of those
theme,
scenes, I've been hacked, okay?
Very happy.
he has the rainbows and clouds. Alright, so just above select a theme, please click on See All Options. See All Options. And on the left-hand side, I'd like you to click Settings. There are a lot of settings and a lot of options for all over the place for in this area for different aspects of Exchange. So I encourage you to look at them, but the one I really want to point out, a couple things I want to point out are here in this settings. First, your email signature. Does everyone see this box that says email signature? At the bottom of every email that either you're replying, forwarding, or creating a new one, what do you want it to say? And you pick your font, you pick the size, and then just go ahead and type what you want your email signature to be. So I'll go ahead and give you a second to do that. Nobody likes the font.
I can't seem to click in the box.
Oh, go ahead and just click and then start typing. It really is there. For some reason, some browsers aren't showing the little cursor. No. All right. Now, as you scroll down a little bit, scroll down just a little bit. A couple other things I want to point out to you. Automatically include my signature on messages I send. There's a checkbox here. Go ahead and select that checkbox so that your email signature will show up automatically every time. You don't have to. You could have an email signature kind of standing by and not check that, and then when you create a message and if you want to include it, click Include Signature and it'll insert it. But I think it's easier to delete. If I don't want, then add. So I just show mine all the time and I delete if I don't think it's necessary. Message format. Just a little bit further down, there's a checkbox, Always Show BCC. And if you're a teacher, you probably want to check that checkbox, select that one. What this does is every time you create a message, it adds the line or the option to blind carbon copy people. And then that's probably where you'll put parent emails so that nobody sees each other's email, nobody else knows who else got this message. And that protects their email. Like, oh, there's Susie's email. I'm going to start, it just protects the parent's identity. So Always Show BCC gives you the option automatically to blind carbon copy people. You don't need to do Always Show From because it's always from you, so that just takes up space. It's up to you. All right, a little bit further down, just below those, this is your message defaults. So you can choose. I always like to put my things in HTML. You could do plain text if you prefer. But what font do you like? What size? 10 is small. So you might want to make your signature a little bigger, and you might want to show, have your default text to be a little bigger too. 10 is quite small, for my eyes maybe. All right, so any other settings, I encourage you to explore them. Just click Save in the bottom right-hand corner to save your changes. There's a Save button. And let's return to Mail by clicking on the Mail link in the very top left-hand corner after you've saved. We're under Outlook Web App, where it says Mail. And you should return to your inbox. Is everyone back to their inbox? Okay. So go ahead, don't forget to hit Save in the bottom right-hand corner if you haven't saved yet. All right, now go back to the Mail. All right, what I want to do now is create a new message. At the top of your list, we have these menu items. Click New to create a new message. Now, this is the one thing that is the most different between CLC and Exchange.
So I have a pop-up that says,
Oh.
some plugins that
Yeah, activate. If you get the silver light thing, definitely activate it. And if you get the 32-bit mode message like we have, just ignore it. I don't know what that means. A bunch of people got that. Just no, don't. Oh, okay. All right, now, so like I was saying, this is the one thing that's the biggest difference between first class and exchange. So if you could just watch me, I'm going to walk through how to add someone to the two. If I just start typing someone's name, I don't think I've emailed you, Sean. Yeah, I have. Okay. Oh, because I did a reply to all. What's your name? Joanne. Joanne. So in CLC, we are used to just typing someone's name and getting everything that matches it automatically. The first time you email someone, you have to go look for them. So Joanne, what's your last name?
L-O-R-C.
So if I do space L and I click check names, it's going to find every Joanne L out there. And there you are, and I select you. So if I want to include Sean, I just type Sean, and now it remembers that I've emailed him before. So the more you email people, the more it remembers your favorites. So I can just click on, if I just hit enter, it will include him. And if I type Carol, I have two Carols who I've emailed recently, Carol Hahn, but I don't want her, I want Carol Stevens. So the more you email, the more it remembers your favorites. So how do I find someone? Again, I just type someone's name. Actually, who can I email? What's your name?
Sarah.
S-A-R-A-H? Last name?
McCann, M-C-C-A.
M-C-C. So I just type some of her name, and then I click the little head with a check mark that says check names. And it will, if she's the only one who matches, it'll fill it in automatically for me. If multiple match, it'll say which one do you want. Like I had to pick Joanne from the list. But now it'll remember them every time I go to email and I just start typing Sarah. It's going to say, oh, you emailed Sarah McCann. Is that who you're looking for? Yes, it is. So it gets a lot easier.
I have some more questions.
Sure.
With CLC, when you were typing in someone's name, it also showed which location they worked at. So if there were people with the same name, it was easier to
So to that point, let's email Susan. Don't email Susan Williams. I'm going to email Susan Williams, and I'm going to click check names. There are 3 Susan Williams. Susan A, Susan G, Susan Y. It does not tell me what their location is. We've asked them to add that. So in the meantime, I'm going to remove it because I don't know which one I want. So I click remove. So I really need to see the full directory to know which Susan I want. So do you see how you have this to button? Or the to who I'm emailing? If you click to, you're going to get the entire Howard County directory.
Oh my God.
Now if I type in this field at the top, Susan Williams. Do I want the one at Elkridge Landing, Central Office, or Lake Elkhorn? I see their locations, I see their phone numbers, etc. Now I select the one I want. If I double click her name, it'll automatically add her to the to. If I single click, I can carbon copy her, I can BCC her, I choose where she goes. So by default, when you come to this window, you are looking at the entire Howard County directory. That's known as the default global address list. So that's where you are by default. Just note that you can also include people in your personal contacts by clicking contacts, and those are your personal ones. So I would just click that and I can add them as well. When you are done and you've added everyone you want to email, just click OK down here in the bottom right hand corner and you'll be able to continue on with your message. So I click OK, I type a subject, training email, just delete. Do you guys all mind if I email you? And now I have a couple of options. In the top left-hand corner, I can either send it, and it will send it immediately, and I'll see a copy of it in my sent items folder. I can save it, because I want to write a little bit more later when I have more time, and it'll go to my drafts folder. Remember the ones you're working on but haven't sent yet? I have a paper clip. I can upload files, attachments to it. I can click on this next one. It looks like a little picture. I can insert a picture in the text. You can't just copy and paste a picture. It might look like it's there, but when you send it, it won't be there. So you have to insert a picture that's been saved to your computer, which is very easy. I do it all the time. Oh, look, it said draft auto-saved at 11:45. So if I'm working on a message for a while, for just a couple minutes, it'll save for me, which is really nice. So you don't lose your work. So I can click send. And it's not here in my inbox. I have to go to my sent items. And there it is, training email, just delete. So any questions about the life cycle of an email? Yes?
I'm sorry.
No, that's why we're here.
So if I were to click the red button to close out, would that, because in the past in CLC it would go to the draft, does that delete it? Or does
No,
that...
what's going to happen, let's say I start a new message, and I start typing, and I go to just close it. It's going to say this page, this page is asking you to confirm that you want to leave. Or data you have entered may not be saved. Sorry, I can't talk. So you're given the option, stay on the page to save it. So it will warn you. It just won't close it and you lose everything. So I can just say leave page, I don't care, I don't want it, or stay on page, save it, then close it. So it does warn you, which is nice. All right. Any other questions about emailing? All right, last two things I want to show you. Well, a couple things. Calendar. Because I saw a couple hands go up that you used your personal calendar. Did you guys use your personal calendar in CLC? Click on the calendar option on the left-hand side, down here at the bottom. This is your personal calendar, not the school calendar. You can look at a day at a time, Monday through Friday, Sunday through Saturday, or a month at a time, and you will see your month at a time, which is really nice. Just to the right of it, since you guys do use your calendar, do you see where it says share? You can share your calendar with other people. By default, no one else can see your calendar. You have to share it with them. So click share, and then what do you want to show them? Who do you want to send it to? And it'll send them an email, and they can add the calendar to their view, which is really handy. Because you can see I have all the other trainer calendars available here, and I can click on it and see where they are. So if I needed Karsten to come help me here today, I could click on Karsten's calendar, and I could see, he only shared his free busy time with me. It's not very friendly. I think I shared all information with him. So it'll tell me if he's available or not.
How do you enter? It's the entering the same way for your calendar?
Yeah, you just click new. I love the calendar. I could do a whole class on calendar. The calendar in Exchange is so powerful. I can just click new, and I can just put an event on my calendar. I just say what it is, where I'm going to be, the start and end time. I can say am I busy or free, give it a color, etc. And I can also invite others to this event.
Great.
If I invite others to this event, I go to the scheduling assistant, I put in their name, I can see whether or not they're available. Let's say I want to invite Sean, I'll just call this training. I go to the schedule assistant, Sean Martin, hit enter. It will tell me his availability, that's all. I don't see where he is or what he's doing, because he has not shared his calendar with me. So I can just say, he's free at 2, so I'm going to move my appointment to 2 o'clock. I can schedule, I don't know about scheduling rooms if we have those resources in there yet. Are you going to fill up your calendar so I don't book you?
So if previously you could say other participants and it immediately kind of share it, that's how I'd share it. So is that...
Yeah.
Or in other words, so like if I wanted to put it, if someone else wanted to be on this meeting, how would you do that?
You just add their name here to the attendees.
To attendees.
Yeah. And then what's the nice thing about this is it doesn't just show up on their calendar, it also sends them an email asking them to accept it or not. Accept, decline, or be tentative. So you get an email. If he changes, or if I change this event, he'll get an email. It doesn't just change it. Before, people would change things on my calendar and not tell me. And I'll miss a meeting because I didn't check my calendar. Well, we moved it to 9 o'clock. Well, nobody told me. And I don't come in till 10 because I was training or something. You never know. So what I love about this is you get an email anytime it's modified. If it's deleted, you get an email. This event has been canceled. So it's very email centric in that it notifies you of any changes, which is good. All right, so I'm going to close that. Contacts. That's the next item on this left-hand side. Contacts. So I'm going to click on contacts. Here are all my personal contacts, but I've already created a few groups. So I'm going to teach you how to create a group or a mailing list. So if you have your team leaders or you have your 3rd grade team. So I'm going to zoom in because this is tiny. Whoops. Marcy just sent me a message. Contacts. I'm on contacts in the bottom left-hand corner. Do you see where it says the little new button and the delete button? In between, there's a little arrow drop down. Do you see that? It's tiny. Little arrow drop down just to the right of the new, but to the left of the delete. When you click new, one of your options is a group. I want to create a new group, and I might call this third grade team, or whatever your team is, special ed, or whatever you want to call it, whatever works for you. And if you don't use mail lists in CLC, you don't have to do this. This is just an option for you. Now, I want to add some people. I'm going to add Joanne. So I just start typing her name. I want to add, and I've already, what's your name? I haven't added you.
Rachel, R-A-C-H-E-L, Leese, L-E-E-S-S.
So I just typed Rachel Leese. I haven't emailed her before, and I just hit enter, and it found her. So if there are a couple people who match, it will prompt you to pick the right one. So you add all of your names to your third grade team, or whatever your group is, and then you save and close.
How did you get to the group?
There's a little arrow to the left or to the right of new.
This?
To the arrow.
Oh, yeah.
New group. Yeah, it's
Missed
tricky.
that,
It's
but okay,
so
that's what you
little.
sent.
That's why I
Thank you.
zoomed in, because it's so tiny. And then when you're all done, click Save and Close. So I'll save and close.
It's not finding some people that I'm thinking.
If you can't find them, click Members, and you can add them that way too.
Well, I put it in members. Am I supposed to?
Helen, what's the rest of Helen's
Yeah.
name?
It's,
Her name is not really Helen E. It's
Oh, her name's really not Helen. What is her?
Miji Bang.
okay.
So
She's
go into
probably
that.
in somewhere.
Erase all of that. Just backspace. And just type Y-I.
Ashley,
And then you enter
Helen
your
S. U.
Oh, I just reached out.
And now,
Oh, okay.
But she was saying it's because she's not unrestricted permanent. Yeah.
So how do we add her then? She was in CLC.
who?
Well, because she's a permanent sub.
Oh, she's not Exchange yet. They haven't, she's gonna call the help desk because she can't log in. It's not giving her an account. It's saying that she's not inactive in Exchange, probably because of the long-term sub status, not teacher status. I'm not sure, so we're gonna call the help desk.
Yeah, but she was on the verification, which we verified, sent to Jenny.
Oh, then definitely call the help desk as soon as we're done, and they'll be able to take care of that.
Okay.
All right, when you're done, Save and Close is in the top left-hand corner, and there's your group. If you need to edit your group, you can just double-click on it, and then you can add more people or remove people from the group. All right. Now, if I were to go back to my mail, and I click that New button, if I just type third, 3RD, because that's what I call my group, and I hit Check Names, boom, it fills it in, third grade team, and I know it'll go to everybody on my list. Also, while I'm in this new message, I just want to point out to you, if I type PLES and I hit Check Names, you get two options. Do you want to email the public folder, which is I'm going to show you next, and that's like your school's conference in Exchange? Then it'll be an email that goes to the conference. Or if you pick PLES staff, be careful, it'll go to everyone's inbox. And everyone will get it right in their inbox. So there might be times when that's appropriate, that everybody get in their inbox. And like if you're selling a sofa, don't pick this one. Maybe pick that one. I don't know what you guys put in your school's conference, so, or when you would email individuals. So you might want to have a discussion about how you want to use those two. All right, so I'm going to leave that page. Last thing I want to show you is down here in the bottom left-hand corner, public folder. This is where your school's conference will be in Exchange. And any other public folder you will have access to once we migrate them. Right now you should see one, the PLES public folder. Click on that folder. Oh, you have a message. Oh, Ellen posted a message. Yay. So we have something to look at. Very nice. All right, so there's the, any messages that are sent to the public folder will be listed here. You can do it as an email, or you could click New while you're in the public folder, and it will post a message directly to the public folder. Now, to the left of that public folder icon, the PLES public folder, just to the left, you see that little expand icon, the gray arrow? Click on that gray arrow for your folder, and you'll see all of your calendars. Now, Cindy already called the help desk to indicate that nothing came over on the calendars. So if you click on your individual calendar, like the school calendar or the special ed calendar, whatever your calendars are, this will populate. They're going to migrate all your calendar information. So you'll want to decide as a school, are we going to just use CLC through the end of the school year, or are we going to switch now? So it's your choice. And
Let me just, like, Ellen's message is still bolded as if I haven't read it.
I think you need to double click on it to get that bold to go away.
Because it's just
Now,
preview inside.
yeah, the preview doesn't work. Perfect. There is no red flag on the folder to indicate that there's something on red in there. You'll just need to come in and see if there's something bold.
Brenda, what is the difference between reply and post reply?
Reply would go to Ellen. Post reply will keep it in the folder
Oh, okay. So that would be sent back to the whole conference.
to the public folder.
And you had said that all of the other things that were in our conference, they're still,
And
we have to get to that from CLC. Like
Correct.
anything. Okay.
And I can teach them how to forward things that you want to keep in the public folder and exchange. If like, oh, this is important, let's forward this, and we'll forward this, so that it's in both places.
Will they be able to have folders on the public folder?
I think the conferences, this is where the conference will be. If you're a member of another conference, so this is just for conferences.
Well, we have like our emergency list and our schedules as folders.
Oh, they would be messages in there with attachments. That's how it works. But it's not
Will
a
it also
subfolder.
then delete every however often like CLC does?
Oh no, it wouldn't delete. No, somebody has to physically delete it to get rid of it. There's no, I don't think, there's no time limit. Yeah, good question. No. All right, any other questions? I know I have to let you go. You're very busy. Is this my 15-minute?
Yes.
Okay.
20.
Oh, my pleasure.
Thank you.
And